Yo, what's up guys, Gaming Magic 13 here, and welcome back to the 100% walkthrough for LEGO Batman the video game. Today I'll be playing through the first level of the Joker's Return, Joker's Home Turf, and picking up the superhero achievement along the way. When you're ready to proceed, bust open this gate and pick up any studs that fall. As soon as the gate falls, retreat and throw a battering at as many goons as you possibly can. Then punch any goons that survive. I shouldn't need to say it at this point in the walkthrough, but these guys are the Joker goons, and they're exactly the same as the Riddler and Penguin goons from before, just with a different color scheme. That same concept applies for these henchmen right here. To take down the henchmen safely from around here, throw a battering at the two of them, and if you actually target them with the batarang, then both of them will collapse, and you'll notice that I actually took out the two things suspended above their heads, which helps out for the next section of this level. You don't need to do it now, but it helps to clear out those things before you actually get over there. But anyway, to clear out the henchmen, stand from back here, and then throw a batarang to dodge any gunfire. And while I would recommend waiting until the goons are down, I just decided to do it to get out of the way. Not that it matters, but you'll also notice that the frame rate has significantly improved now that the waves of goons and henchmen are done. And what I'm doing here is just picking up a few extra studs and bashing what I can before proceeding with the level. If you didn't already battering the objects that were above the henchmen from earlier, do so now, and then assemble the pieces that fall into a Robin suit swapper. Then equip the attract suit. And from here, it's just going around the area, picking up 25 of the loose red, yellow, and green Lego bits. Once you have 25, input them into the machine. Now this vehicle allows you to suck up any of the toxic goo that's around the area, so hop in and then suck up all the toxic goo around the area. There's going to be 3 patches over here to the left, which are going to be helpful for later, and then the rest of it is all going to be on the right side of the area, which is where we actually need to go to proceed with the level. After you move into this right side of the area, you're going to be swarmed by a bunch of goons, and this time 2 of them have guns. Treat the goons with guns as if they were henchmen, and then the rest of it is just standard goon and henchman combat. You've been doing this since episode 1. Once you sucked up all the toxic goo, return the vehicle over to the left-hand side and then park it by the door. You'll know why we do this a little bit later. Okay, we'll just leave that there and come back for it later. So to proceed with this level, move along to the right-hand side of the area on foot. Now you'll see what I'm doing here. I'm just picking up any loose studs that are hanging along this wall. There are going to be 3 blue studs in this corner right here. Bust open the blocks in this right-hand corner right here, and then reassemble the pieces into a handrail, which you can use to jump up to the upper level. From here, grapple up 1 level higher. Reassemble the pieces are going to be lined around up here into a Batman suit swapper, and then as Batman, equip the glide suit. Batman decided it would be a brilliant plan to jump off the edge right there. I'm not sure why he thought that'd be a brilliant plan, but now I have to wait for him to get back up here so that I can equip the glide suit. Moving down 1 level lower, there are going to be 2 hatches which you need to construct in order to clear the way forward, so just build the 2 hatches and then move forward. You'll notice that I periodically stop to pick up a few loose red, yellow, and green pieces even though there's no attract suit collector in sight. But I'm doing this because it's going to be one a little bit further down the line, so I want to have a few going into it. Then glide across the gap as Batman. Once you reach this side, reassemble these pieces into a tightrope, which Robin can use to climb across. Once both characters are up here, you can grab onto these 2 handlebars, which will cause the barrels to fall through that little hole right there, and then you can jump down. But there's going to be a horde of goons down here, so the second you jump down here, throw a battering, and then once more punch anything that remains. It's really not that hard to fight goons, like I said previously. You've been doing this since episode 1. On the other side of this door, switch to Batman and then push this crate along back towards the back wall, then to the left just enough so you have a little bit of glide room, then jump on top of the crate and glide across to the left-hand side. Grab onto the handrail if you don't think you can actually make it across just by gliding and landing on a platform. Then push this crate once again to the edge. I didn't actually mean to push this all the way over here because that means that's a lot of studs I missed out on, but don't worry, I still ended up getting superhero. Then, hopefully Robin will have attracted the attention of most of the goons, so that you can fly down towards the bottom of the screen and throw a battering at any goons that Robin hasn't killed, which is all of them because AI, for some reason, can't seem to destroy any goons. So just throw a battering at all the goons to get their attention off of Robin, and then punch anything that remains. Again, standard goon combat, I really shouldn't even have to say this. But once the goons are done, you can switch to Robin and pick up any loose Lego pieces that you still need in order to hit the 25 mark. This is why I told you to grab some of the loose Lego pieces from earlier. And you should have just enough, if you've done everything I told you to do, to input them into the machine once more. This time around, the machine is going to construct a giant grenade launcher and will launch 3 grenades at the door and blast it straight open. Now, we parked the vehicle at the door here earlier so that we could easily take it into the next section without having to hike halfway across the room just to get it. Now that it's in this side, you can probably guess what we're going to use it for. We are going to use it to suck up all the toxic goo, allowing us to solve the next puzzle. What I'm doing here is just grabbing a few studs I didn't get earlier, because I decided not to take the stairs down, so I wouldn't get ambushed by the goons that were waiting for me at the bottom. Anyway, hop in the vehicle once more, and then suck up any of the goo which is in this area, and once you do that, you will be able to solve the next puzzle. Like I said, I didn't mean to drop that box down from earlier, but since I did, it allows me to show you what you do. Basically, what you have to do is you have to push those crates over the edges, pick up any studs that fall. I didn't get to do that for the first box because I accidentally pushed it over too far, and then reassemble the pieces that fall into gears along the wall. That will activate one of the levers, but we need both of them active, so one isn't going to do the trick. So, do one at a time, assemble or push the crates over the edge, and then assemble the pieces that fall into gears which will attach themselves to the wall, and then both levels will be activated, and then you can pull them and open the door forward. So I'm just going to go over and drop more pieces from the ceiling, and the rest of it I've already explained, so if verbal explanation doesn't help, then maybe visualization will be able to help you out. When you enter this room, you'll be rushed by a few goons and then one henchman, so prioritize the henchman. Again, if you run up in front of his face, he will put his gun away, essentially making him about as dangerous as a goon. What is dangerous is those 3 henchmen up there. You can batarang the one on the far left, but no matter what angle I try, I can never seem to batarang the other 2. Fortunately, we're going to move through this so quickly, you're really not even going to need to consider them a threat. You'll notice they fire a few pot shots, but never seem to really do a lot of damage. So I wouldn't really worry too much about the henchmen in the balcony. Just grab any studs that you want before moving on. Creep your way up the stairs and then jump and then press the attack button to surprise one of them and get an instant kill for one of them, and then just punch the other one. Now here I'm doing a little ring around the rosy around this box for this other goon, even though that was completely unnecessary, but hey, it looked funny. Anyway, you want to push both of these crates over the edge and then assemble the pieces into a truck. I only end up doing one of these boxes, and then I get completely sidetracked by the goons that are going to rush me in a second here. But you are meant to push both of those over the edge, so I end up getting sidetracked by the goons, and then I break something in the background, which makes me go run to that because I have to get these studs, otherwise they're going to despawn because superhero. Then more goons rush your position once you move past that point, and then this other goon goes a little bit too far, which pulls my direction a bit further to the right, and then more studs break, which pulls my attention even further to the right, and then I decide to take care of the step right now by breaking these pieces and then reassembling them into a pressure plate. So reassemble these pieces. If you came over here and got sidetracked like I did, then reassemble them into a pressure plate, and you can just take care of the step now. I didn't step on it because I realized that I got completely sidetracked by the goons, so I come back here to finish what I was trying to do in the first place, which was assemble this truck. So push the other crate over the edge if you haven't already, and then reassemble the pieces into the truck, and then there's going to be one more crate up there on the ledge which you have to actually glide across to get to. So backtrack up the ladder and then glide your way over to that crate, push it over the edge, and add the actual lifting mechanism, even though it doesn't actually lift. It's more like a bulldozer forklift ice cream truck hybrid thing that we're going to use to destroy stuff. Now, if you're playing on co-op and you're thinking, oh, why does my buddy get this and not me? Well, if you smash these little gray things towards the bottom of the screen, you can actually reassemble another forklift truck bulldozer hybrid for your buddy to hop into. This doesn't really help me because I'm playing single player, obviously, but if you are playing co-op, then hey, 2 people, double the fun, am I right? And then you can pick either truck. I decided to pick this one since I went through the trouble of building it. And what you really want to do is smash these pieces so that you can construct a ladder leading you up to the platform over there on the right. This is when I decided to actually step on the pressure plate to clear the way forward. Glide across the gap as Batman and then step on yet another pressure plate, which is going to clear the way forward from the bottom level. Waiting for you on the other side of the toxic gas is a horde of goons. So, throw a battering into the mix to kill what you can, and then immediately run to the ladder. I did not listen to myself here, and ended up taking a few hearts because of it. Immediately run to the ladder, and then for some reason, every enemy will jump up to meet you and end up getting themselves killed in the process because you're going to be standing at the top of the ladder to punch them as they come to jump up. Is it a cheap tactic? Maybe a little bit, but hey, it works. They follow you up to the top of the ladder, and they're not expecting you to hit them, so I say it works. Just throw a battering into the mix to take out what you can, then run to the ladder, and then once you're at the top, the enemies will jump up to meet you, and from there, you can just punch them all very easily. It works for me. So then you're going to hop back into this forklift bulldozer truck hybrid of yours, and smash the silver boxes on this side, both for some extra studs, and for pieces to construct a mechanism. Reassemble these pieces into a rotator switch. As Batman, jump up on the handrail and then glide over to the left-hand side and reassemble these pieces into a chute, which is going to have a bunch of toxic gas in it. Now, usually the objective is to remove the toxic goo from the levels and not add more to the mix, but this time the only way to solve the puzzle is by adding more toxic goo. So return to the rotator switch and then turn it all the way around until it won't turn anymore. Then jump back onto the handrail and pull the lever, which you can now pull, and a bunch of toxic goo will fill in this hole to the right. I like to get on this first platform here before the goo rises up so that I have a little bit of a head start, which means less parkouring into toxic goo. Unfortunately, that didn't work out too well for me, but I still had the reflexes to change characters before I lost too many of my studs. Anyway, as Batman, glide across this gap and held onto this handrail, and then jump kick any of these goons, and by any of these I mean the two goons. Then pull the lever here, and that is going to extend a bridge, which is going to allow us to bring the forklift across, or forklift truck bulldozer hybrid. You're going to be ambushed on the bridge here, so be prepared to hop out and then deal with the henchmen and goons. I wasn't prepared because I was distracted by something else, and so I ended up losing a bit of my studs, which is unfortunate, but it didn't hurt me in the long run. Again, standard henchman and goon combat, I really shouldn't have to explain. Just know that there is going to be an ambush coming on the bridge. Two goons rush you as you approach the platform here, so just hop out and punch them before they can do any real damage. Then roll this forklift truck bulldozer hybrid onto the platform and then hop off. This is going to activate a lift. Well, that was certifiable garbage. Anyway, once the lift returns to its down state, hop on top of it as Batman and try not to get artificially crushed like I did. And hold a battering ready as you reach the top, and this should take out most, if not all, of the goons. And then you can just punch anything that survives. There's going to be a bunch of henchmen around this corner, but in my experience, one usually moves up to start the attack, and that's who you want to batarang, because everyone else is out of batarang range, but if you just battering the one that rushes you, then he's in your batarang range. So batarang him to get the attention, and then fall back a little bit further along the wall, and then use the batarang against the rest of the henchmen. Moving on to this next section, I glide out to the left a little bit to grab a blue stud. You can't grab the other one from my experience, and then you can just rush all the henchmen. Again, standard henchman combat. Here we're going to make a suit swapper, so use your battering against these top parts and then reassemble them into a Robin suit swapper. This time we're going to equip the magnet suit. And hey, superhero. As Robin, hop onto this magnetic wall and then climb up to the top, and then reassemble these pieces into the machine over here on the left hand side. Then you are going to push this along the right and then to the forward towards the back wall on the checkered tiles. Glide across the gap as Batman. Upon landing, use your battering against the 3 henchmen hiding in the corner, and that should take most of them out, and you can punch anything that survives. I really don't know why I'm even telling you all this. It's, again, basic henchman and goon combat. Once everything's down, reassemble these pieces into parts of the bridge. As Robin, scale this magnetic wall and then turn the rotator switch all the way around so that the door is open enough so that you can get through it. Okay, time to fight the Mad Hatter. So, as soon as you spawn into the area, break open these barrels so that you can get a few extra studs. The Mad Hatter doesn't actually come down to fight you for a little bit. I actually managed to battering the Mad Hatter with that, which was lucky. But the real problem here is that Robin's going to spend most of his time fighting the Mad Hatter, so that leaves you to deal with the goons and henchmen. Take out the goons and henchmen before you start attacking the Mad Hatter, and since Robin should have his attention focused on the Mad Hatter, you can just switch to him to deal a few punches in. Once he loses 2 hearts, he'll retreat back up to there to his little hidey hole, so we're going to have to get him down from there. You may notice that he actually retreated to the right side of his little hidey hole, so we're going to climb up the right wall here, and then, as Robin, walk across this catwalk so Batman can come up here and join us, because we need both characters to step on this pressure plate in order to drop the hatch from beneath him. He will always retreat onto the right-hand side first, so always, always, always come up here with Robin along the magnet wall, go across the catwalk to drop it, and as both characters step on the pressure plate to get him to fall into the toxic goo, and then come and fight you again. Now it's time for the entirely unoriginal freeze one character, have the other character take over fighting technique. So, with one character, go up and start to attack him, and then he will freeze you, and then switch to the other character, and then attack him again. That takes down 2 hearts, leaving only 2 hearts remaining. So, now he's going to go to the left side, so get both characters onto this lift, which actually proved more difficult than I was expecting. But once you get both characters successfully onto this lift and up onto the upper level, then you can step onto this pressure plate, and just like on the right hand side, it will open the hatch beneath him and send him sprawling into the toxic goo. That does 1 heart of damage, and now there's only 1 left, so 1 punch will take him out. Alright, and that is going to do it for this episode of the Lego Batman the Video Game 100% walkthrough. So, I would like to thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode, and until then, it's been a Game Magic 13 signing off, saying I hope you have a fantastic oracle day, and I will catch you next time where we're going to be tackling the 2nd level of the Joker's Return. Little fun at the big top. Goodbye!